The next thing that I am going to basically get on is more delays. Now, the pandemic has really ran rapid with everything. But we're talking about movies. So I'm going to be talking about just the movie theaters and everything else. The movies have been majorly affected. Movies, major films have not came out yet that were supposed to come out last year. Black Widow, No Time to Die, A Quiet Place 2, other big movies. I think Eternals, the other Marvel movie was supposed to come out. TV shows were delayed and picked back up. The Batman was supposed to come out this year, but was pushed back because shooting was pushed back. Like a lot of movies were delayed, whether they were finished and slated to come out, or whether they were in production or close to the end production and had to stop and then continue on later on once things got maybe a little bit better to where the circumstances are easier to work with. But as we were going in toward the end of last year, we got basically a lot of movies. Okay, they're not coming out in 2020. We're gonna push them to 2021. Some movies get pushed all the way to 2022. So one of the movies, Black Widow, a lot of people have been waiting for it. Quiet Place, a lot of people have been waiting for that. No Time to Die. We get into this new year, not even a month in. Like this month isn't even over. It's close to being over. Not even close to, it's not even over yet. And we already have a lot of delays. I mean, you got A Quiet Place 2 was supposed to come out, like I believe it was like earlier this year. Let me look at my notes. So it originally was slated for March 2020, then got pushed to September 2020, then got pushed to April 23rd, 2021, and now has been pushed to September 17th, 2021, which looks like more of an ideal date because of the vaccines that's been rolling out. Not as fast as, as it should, but more than likely toward the end of the year, beginning of next year, it looks like more of a better time for a movie like that, or movies that are coming out at the beginning of this year to actually come out, whatever. And then you got movies like No Time to Die, the last Daniel Craig James Bond movie that was slated to come out last year. That movie moved just as much as a lot of other movies, and that was one of the most anticipated movies to come out. It first was supposed to come out in April 2020, then it got pushed to November 2020, then April 2021, and now it's coming out October 8th, which I think is weird. I was expecting to get pushed maybe to November, but with a lot of movies being pushed to 2021 and 2022, this year is looking bloated. So that's probably one of the reasons why. It's probably like that section of this year probably isn't, covered by a whole bunch of movies or even big budgeted movies, smaller movies or whatever. So it's slated now for October 8th, 2021. And this comes from the official James Bond Twitter account. And it's like, that's one of the movies I'm waiting for. I don't know if it's going to come out this year. Maybe they might push it to March of next year. I don't know. But that's been pushed back. As well as Sony has pushed back other movies. Like, what is it? The Cinderella movie with Camila Cabello, that's her name, the singer. That was supposed to come out, I think maybe next month. It was supposed to come out. They pushed that back. Peter Rabbit 2, another movie that wasn't on my top 10 list. I can tell you that. But I was looking forward to it because I really did like the first one. Me and my son really did like the first film. That got pushed back. Ghostbusters Afterlife, as well as Uncharted, the video game for, that's on PlayStation. The live action with Tom Holland, that got pushed back. That was supposed to come out. And they're pushing all of these movies to, I believe, 2022. And one of the factors is the reason why why these movies are being pushed, and it's not because of pandemic. I mean, more than likely, that's one part of it. But the other part is simply because this year is starting, because of like last year, is beginning to be crowded. And 2022 it's more than likely gonna start to get crowded as well. We probably ain't gonna start to see really a non-crowded year for movies until maybe 2023 or 2024. Hopefully by then everything will go back to normal. No more masks, no more worry, no nothing. But those movies have been pushed back, and only mainly, and another part of it is that Sony doesn't have a streaming service like Disney or Warner Brothers or places like that. All they can do is auction off their movies like to Netflix, Prime, or whatever. And I don't think that they want to do that. I feel like they want to have that theatrical release, which is nothing wrong with that. And on top of that, I've heard that they're coming out with their own. They're trying to develop their own streaming service, Bravio, count like their TV brand or whatever. They're trying to do something like that, start up their own thing. That way, they can do what Warner Brothers, Disney Plus, and other studios are doing. Universal when it comes to these like products. And one of the other movies that got moved is Morbius. It's basically the second movie to come out in the Venom verse, and it's connected to the Venom movie, and that got moved to January 21st, 2022. It's supposed to come out July 10th of 2020. Then it got moved to July 31st, 2020. Then got moved to the 19th of March of this year, and then got pushed to October 8th, and now it's coming out next year. And I think it's really just to kind of be on the safe side. As of right now, Venom has not been moved. Venom 2, the Let There Be Carnage, is still right where it's supposed to be. I believe it's like June is coming out in this year. So that may end up getting moved to maybe later on this year. But as far as those movies, yeah, like I feel like there's gonna be a lot more moving of movies, just because if theaters aren't open back up, a lot of people aren't going, and it's not really too much money to be made from it. I feel like a lot of movies are going to be moved. Like we probably might go another year without seeing an MCU movie, or maybe even just one. When was the last time we saw just one MCU movie within a year? It's been a minute. I believe, I want to say, maybe it was Iron Man 2? Yeah, I think Iron Man 2 was the last time we saw one MCU movie. After that, it was basically two or more, which is crazy to think. But yeah, all these movies, a lot of movies, people are very much anticipated. Black Widow hasn't been moved yet. I know a lot of people talking about how they want it to be on Disney Plus, put it straight to Disney Plus, but that's a potentially $1 billion movie. I'm pretty sure Disney wanted to be in the theaters to where it can make as much money as it can, because it's not gonna make $1 billion on VOD, or premium VOD, or how they do it, the premier access or whatever, like they did for Mulan and that they're doing for Raya and the Last Dragon. They might even do a hybrid, where it's like you can get the, premiere access as well as it's in theaters, so that they can still make the money from the theaters, and then they get the money from the premiere access, which more than likely they're going to continue to go with the $30. But we'll see, since, Mulan was such a big disaster. That's a whole video to cover in itself. But they're doing it again with Raya and the Last Dragon. But the only difference between this movie and Mulan is that you have the option to either get the premiere access, or you can actually go to a movie theater. Crap, I can't even speak. If there is a movie theater open near you, because I know in certain places in the U.S., people don't have movie theaters near them open, to where they have to drive hours just to go to the movies. So I'm fortunate to have movie theaters around me. I mean, even if it's not 15, 20 minutes away, there are movie theaters in the city that I can go to. Not that many, but either one or two that I can go to from just place to place. So it's like they might do that, where it's just maybe just shoot it straight to Disney Plus, or maybe just do the hybrid mode, or just wait to a time where they can just basically just put it out in theaters and have a theatrical run, kind of like how Tenet did last year. But yeah, it's crazy out here when to be a movie studio and to be a movie theater, to own movie theaters. It's crazy out here. I feel like there is going to be a lot more shifting of, release dates with a whole lot of other movies coming out this year, which is gonna probably make my most anticipated, most anticipated list of this year kind of like in void. But I mean, I did it last year. I mean, we didn't know at this point how last year would turn out, but at the same time, I'm gonna do it. Hopefully, at least half of the movies still come out this year, and then I can go from there. And